Unmute microphone. There we go. No, it wasn't you. It was me. I just, or rather, us hadn't turned that. Normally, we mute the sound when we're getting set up, so you're not listening to God only knows what and whatnot. So there you go. Hopefully, you should be able to hear us now. So, how is everyone this morning? Everybody say hello to each other and fill us in on any particular viewpoints. Let's see here. We messed up because I'm not here very often. We can only be here for 5 minutes, but wanted to say sorry. Hi, sorry. Thank you very much, Samantha. It's okay. Come on back later on and watch the stream. It's probably going to be a short one today anyway because we're still tired from yesterday and being out and about so much. But we wanted to come on and say hello and everything. So here we are. But yeah, go ahead and thank you for the hi. And trying to sit cross-legged and it hurts. Yeah, sorry, Oxy. We had it muted when we were setting up, because moving around microphones always leads to conk, conk type things. So, it was interesting, Naomi. It was an interesting anniversary, much more adventurous than either one of us were betting on. But we'll get to that in a second here. Yes, Kat, I see you, Kat. Hello, Kat. Lovely Kat. And goodbye, Kat. Okay. Let's see here. Hope you had enjoyed and had an amazing anniversary. Did you have a nice day yesterday? Yeah, like I said, it was adventurous. We booked a cruise on one of the local lakes. They have an astronomy, a regular, and then they have an astronomy cruise where you're out on the lake at night looking at the stars. And there's a guy, Dr. Sky, I think he's called. Apparently, he's like all over the U.S. and actually apparently is on Coast to Coast AM, which I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but is a very long-running TV or radio program that covers just about everything, but kind of centers on the weird, the paranormal, UFOs, aliens, ghosts, whatever. Weird stuff. But Dr. Sky, apparently he's on there since Art Bell died. Apparently he's a regular there and whatnot. But we got to talking, and he actually he gave me his card. He's like, actually, I'd like to interview you. Of course, totally didn't get to the part that, yeah, you're sitting across from a guy who has DID. But we've had an interest in the paranormal and all that for a very long time. So we got to talking with him about it and whatnot. Because he was coming around to the guests on the cruise and, saying hello and sitting down. I mean, he's a crowd worker. He knows how to do what he's doing. But you can tell when somebody's genuinely interested in you. And so our wife had dropped, he used to be a professional magician and then we retired. And, and he's like, oh, and then, of course, everybody wants to know about magic and stuff like that, which... everybody wants to hear about it, but nobody ever wants to see it. You got two camps. You got those that love magic and hate magic, and those who are satisfied to let the mystery be a mystery, and those who have to figure out every goddamn thing, So you run across that, which is why magicians are generally 3 steps ahead of you and 2 streets over, making you think one thing. It's actually not misdirection, it's directed attention. But anyway. So we were out on the astronomy cruise, but in order to get to the lake where where the cruise was, it's just a local thing, but it's about 13 miles through rough terrain, kind of a backcountry type stuff. I mean, it's a paved road and everything, but it's a very, very narrow and very winding road with long stretches of no passing allowed. And it's obviously with the lake, you get idiots who are out there drinking and boating and every damn thing. So we built in a half hour extra, just to deal with time. And there were like 2 one-lane bridges on this road. And so we're heading in, and the speed limit's about, I think it was 40 through the stretch that we're going at, and there was a long string of cars coming this way because of, there's so many twists and turns. You literally have to go. The posted speed is like 15 miles per hour, and for good reason. it's an intense little road, and I mean, we learned to drive in the mountains, so we're kind of used to this thing. Our wife is a nervous Nelly when just driving, so she was just doing her best to keep the stuff together. Well, anyway, long story short, we very nearly lost our lives last night because some stupid young impatient punk on there, like I said, there was a long string of cars coming, and there must have been a good 15, 20 of them, and all of a sudden we come over the crest of the hill, and here's this guy. He decides that he's this kid. He's going to pull out, and he's going to try to pass in a no passing zone where there's maybe 5 or 6 feet between the two cars. And so he's playing chicken with the car ahead of him, trying to get in, and the other guy doesn't want him. We come over the hill, and I see him, and I've got just enough, you got those split screen things. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm glad that we've got the adrenaline and the cortisol flooding our body 24/7 thanks to the trauma, because it enhances our reaction time, which came into play yesterday. So yeah, it was just obvious as I came over the hill, I saw him, and it was just, he was not going to make it. He was not going to make it. He was not going to get back in to the traffic in time to, have us not hit. So, I don't want to say I slammed on the brake, because I was taught defensive driving. I know how to slow the vehicle and use the inertia of the vehicle to work with you rather than just grabbing and slamming on the brake. So I did that. Unfortunately, the guy that was behind us was actually paying attention, and he sure as hell was paying attention after that. But finally, the guy in front of a-hole actually let him in with, like split seconds to spare. I was at the point where I was ready to ditch the car on the right-hand side of the road because I had no place to go. It was just wilderness on one side and death on the other approaching. So, yeah, that was not the type of, adventure that we were looking for our anniversary date, but all's well that ends well. It was definitely a shit your pants type of moment, that's for sure. So wife and I, we continued on to the lake, and we had, it was a nice cruise and everything. Yeah, no, we're not done yet. So we get to the cruise, and we're out there on the boat, and he's about, Dr. Sky, he's about maybe a half an hour or so into his spiel. And he's talking, and he's like, and he draws our attention to a light, that's up there. And it was long story short, we saw a UFO or UAP, whatever you want to call it, as he's literally giving the astronomy program, and it just came direct straight overhead. And it was probably up there about 20,000 feet maybe or so, but it was bright as hell. And I watched the skies, because we've got a major airport not that far away. They run their flight paths over us. So I'm used to seeing the planes that come all the time, and sometimes they can look weird if they're coming in at an angle. Like if a plane is flying in and it's flying towards you, directly towards you, you're not actually seeing the plane itself. You're seeing the front of it with the lights, and people can the landing lights and the approaching lights and the takeoff lights, and depending upon which way the plane is facing. But when it's moving towards you and climbing, you're not seeing it. It looks like it's staying stationary from your point of view in the sky. So a lot of people will misidentify aircraft for that exact reason. So I'm an experienced skywatcher. We're an experienced skywatcher, and so we know the difference between planes and satellites and choppers and everything. Whatever the hell this thing was, it was not a plane, because I watched it for a good point in time, grabbed the phone and was filming and zoomed in. Though when you're actually, if you ever see a UFO and you're filming it, don't zoom in, because it makes it much harder for the poor person who's trying to process the footage after you to pick out the details. But it was just one of these shiny orbs, and it had like this cone of light out on either side, and it looked for all the world like it was passing through a mist, and but it wasn't. It was partly cloudy, and the part of the sky where it was traveling through was relatively clear. So Dr. Sky, he didn't know what the hell it was. Nobody really knew what it was, but I got a little brief snippet of it on tape. Not great quality on tape on my cell phone. Yeah, you can tell how old we are. So yeah, and then the rest of the, and we got in a conversation with him later on, and he was like, here's my card. You used to have fascinating stories. And I'm thinking, you have no idea. So anyway, he wants to interview us just from the magic and stuff like that, but he didn't know about the DID, but who knows, who's going to use an opportunity to spread awareness. So we're toying with the idea of calling him, and just, I mean, because hey, Coast to Coast is a coast to coast radio show, so it's like maybe we can get on there and spread some awareness for DID, and help to, because I mean, let's face it, well, the normal world thinks DID is pretty effing weird, right there along with aliens and ghosts and every other thing. I mean, obviously it's not. You know that, I know that, we know that, but to the normal person. So I'm thinking about turning this to the advantage for the DID community to maybe spread some awareness and kill some of that stigma out there. So we'll see how that shakes out. We'll keep you updated. So yeah, and then of course we had to go back at night on the same road that we damn near lost our lives on earlier, and it's a bit of a nightmare of the road. There's a lot of very sharp turns and dips, and so even at night going 15 miles an hour, there's parts where it's like, okay, you're coming up and the road just disappears in front of you because it's going down a hill or around a corner, and you got people with their brights on in back of us and whatnot, and it's just it was an adventure. So that was our anniversary. Glad you asked. But yeah, fun, not fun. But the cruise was nice. All right, let's see here. So let's catch up. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, Naomi and Blue Rose and Doggo and everybody. Yeah, that's how the anniversary was. For those of you who just came in at the middle of the story, the end of it, just go ahead and rewind the stream later. Obviously, I don't think you can do a live rewind. Anyway, we're kind of scattered because, and of course. I think we touched upon this like on the last stream where trauma victims, DID systems were great in those extreme situations because we're already hyped up on the cortisol and the adrenaline, the cortisol and the adrenaline. We can focus like other people can't. They fall apart under those extreme circumstances, whereas we're just like, whoop. But then later on, when everything is okay, that's when we fall apart. So we've been we have been undergoing the reaction to that event since yesterday and filtering it through because we have to get through whatever the crisis is. And then once it's resolved, then we'll break down. That's just the way that we work. And it's probably common for a lot of you guys too. And it is common with trauma victims because we're so amped up all the time. But, so because we're used to the crisis scenario, because we're used to being under duress like that, it's more or less normal. Whereas the normal things like, honey, I can't find my keys, or, just little things that would not seem to be, like this huge thing to us, we're reacting to that out of, the trauma patterning. So kind of a weird but perfect example of that right there. So let's see. 420 Witch. Hello there. Thank you very much. Hey Tay, how you doing? Doggo, have to leave on an exciting cliffhanger. Go ahead on back to work there, Doggo. We'll be here on it's, like I said, short stream today, and that's why we're going to be kind of short. It's because we're still kind of spinning a little bit from that. Okay, Naomi says, okay, I know it's stupid and non-connected to the topic. I just wanted to share with you that today somehow is not too bad. Yes. Just exhausted and half paralyzed because of my back. We have back issues too. Today I finally got my gaming computer, so I'll be able to game the streaming, which I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. Good. Yay for you have to count those good days, Naomi, because the bad days, they tend to overwhelm us, and we tend to overlook the good days, the good things, and even just a little thing. Try to focus on one thing that's good throughout the day. Here we go, the cat again. Un momento. Well, are you coming in or not? What, your meowiness? Come here, cat bone. There he is. There he is. It's okay. It's okay. I'm right here. Silly old cat. Yeah. You silly old kitty. Look up there. Look up there. Say hi, everybody. Say hi. Say hi. He's like, yeah, put me down. Ow. Yeah, he's definitely like, put me down. So what do you want to do? I'm just going to have to crack the door, aren't I? Because otherwise you're just going to be meow, 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 meow. All right. There you go. Now you can come in and out at your leisure. And no, I'm not letting you outside. Deal with it. Sorry. All right, I'm closing this up so don't meow, 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 meow. Cats, they can never make up their mind what the hell they want. Okay, so yes, Naomi, good thing. Count the good days. Actually, wow, glad nothing worse happened. Yeah, it was one of those shit your pants moments, I'll tell you what. I'm glad that we were taught defensive driving and grew up in a mountainous area because we're used to driving those, kind of treacherous mountain roads. Where you've got like 1,000-foot drop off on one side of the road with no guardrail, those kind of things. Our wife, the poor thing, actually had a full-on anxiety attack and was in tears on the way back because, she just... Actually, she did really well considering, when we're there, breathe in for a count of 3, breathe out for a count of 3, hold it, the cyclical breathing. So, okay, let's see here. 420 Witch. Wow, I firmly believe in aliens and UFOs. Sounds like an amazing experience to see something like that. Not the first time that we've seen something odd, but we could get going on that topic for hours and hours and hours and hours. We've been looking into the whole UFO thing. Oh, yes, by the way, the United States government has officially, more or less said that, yeah, aliens exist. Turn out, well, I mean, it's like, we'll just touch briefly on this. In this vast universe, we are but a small speck among billions and billions of stars and billions of miles and billions of galaxies. It is utter arrogance to assume that we would be the only life form out there. Intelligent life form out there. Now, the only question is whether or not we've been interesting enough for somebody to visit. Who knows? And actually, Dr. Sky brought up an interesting theory last night, which is that the trending thought now seems to be that it's entirely possible that actually what we're seeing is not alien, but in fact, us in the future, when the technology has evolved to the point where we can control space and time and gravity, it's people from the future coming back to do field trips and crap. It's not E.T., it's us just in the future, which is a fascinating thought if you think about it, and completely logical. It's also completely logical that there are life forms here on Earth that we're not capable of perceiving with our normal senses, and that this might account for things like ghosts, fairy, all of the various phenomena that have been reported over time. So, I, like I said, definitely think that there's life out there. Whether or not we've proven interesting enough to visit is another matter. We really have no idea, but it would be utter arrogance to assume that we are the only intelligent life in the entire universe. That would be just rank idiocity. So, anyway, there's our thoughts on that. And having seen several things that we cannot explain and talked with people who were in good positions to know within the military and whatnot what was going on. So yeah, interesting stuff. But if any of you have been following the congressional hearings on the UAPs / UFOs and whatnot, yeah, they basically just come out and said, yeah, they're real. Can't stop them. When you've got camera footage from the nose of a Navy fighter jet and several fighter jets where they're locking onto these things and they can't hold it and they're accelerating away. If you have any interest, you've seen the Nimitz footage. It's the tic-tac thing that you've seen all over the place. So yeah, anyway. That's where that is. So yeah, almost got killed, saw a UFO, had a good cruise. That's our anniversary. About par for the course for the wife and I. Let's see here. So, So yeah, it was pretty wild, 420. Let's see, Oxymoron, would you show us a snippet of the video you made? Would love to see it. Yeah, I'll have to pull it off the phone and see what I get. Like I said, it's a real kind of a piss poor quality because I wasn't set up for it, and I was grabbing my phone and trying to do it. With the motion of the boat and everything, it made it a little difficult. But yeah, we'll throw it up on our Instagram on as a short maybe or something for you guys, just so you can check it out. But I warn you, it's nothing spectacular. And I know because Chris we ran a small channel before we started this, well, before we were diagnosed, called PNT, Paranormal News Today, and we did a lot of video analysis of various pieces of footage, running them through filter. I could bore you to tears with all the detail. So we'll go through, we'll process it, and we'll put it up. It might be a few, but yeah, we'll throw it up for you guys to see. You can judge for yourself. Let's see. 5 Piece of 9. Cloud has arrived, but maintain your sunshine. That's cute. Lavender System. Hello there. Glad the anniversary went well. Blue Rose. Sounds like an interesting opportunity to raise awareness. Yeah, absolutely. We'll see where it goes. We tend to freeze in these situations, not amped up in a functional way. Yeah, well, it's the fight, fright, fleas. Fight, flight, fleas. Fight those fleas. You know what we're talking about. Anyway. Let's see. Toaster saying, also agree with Blue Rose, be an interesting opportunity to raise awareness. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, because, and even though this is where the sword of Damocles cuts both ways with DID, is that because of the shitty media representations, we've been painted in that sensationalized, oh my God, there's an evil author that's going to come out and kill me and all this, and which is rubbish, utter rubbish. We all know this. But it's also served to heighten visibility. It's like it makes people, they hear about DID, well, they may go, what's DID? And you go, okay, multiple personality. Oh, okay, like that movie Split. And you're going, no, not like the movie Split. But anyway, it's one of those, oh, wow, that's a weird thing. It's like, in the public consciousness. So it's like, yeah, maybe if we can use that a little bit to spread some actual facts and awareness about what DID is really like on a nationally syndicated radio show, I'm not going to pass up that opportunity, but it'll be up to him as to what he wants to talk about, so. Or maybe he was just handing out his business cards at random to everybody that he got in conversation with, and we're no exception to the rule. That's not what his body language said, but yeah, cynical skeptic here, So anyway, let's see. Roman Clark, hi Chris, congrats on your 10-year anniversary. Thank you very much. Let's see, Blue Rose. Oh yes, we're the person to go to when the crisis occurs, but pretty useless afterwards. Yeah, same. You can only hold that together so long before it comes out, or you have to let it out and go all over the place. Let's see, Tay is trying to currently come off their antidepressants after being on them for 11 years. That's your good news. Excellent. Yeah, we would love to pull off of our meds, but we know that that's not a good idea. We've never played around with our meds or anything like that. We've been very religious about taking them from square one. For us, it's the lamotrigine that really does the trick. We've got that, and then we've got our propranolol. Those are our main ones, but they've ran us through the gamut of SSRIs and antidepressants and all this, and it's like, you're so hard to nail down, our nurse practitioner tells us. You're so hard to prescribe for. It's like, yeah, because you've got 12 different people in one body, and the medications affect all of us differently, which doesn't make any sense from a scientific viewpoint, but there you go. It's one body. There shouldn't be any biochemical differences, right? Right? Wrong. So yeah, square peg, round hole. Let's see here. 420 Witch visited your dad today in the dementia care home he's in. That was good on you. Good on you. We have never been able to go into places like that. Oh, they make us profoundly uncomfortable. Hospitals and rest homes and things like that. No. It's like we've told our kids, just do us a favor and, just shoot us in the head before putting us into one of those places. Sorry if we just shrank and dropped the chair a little bit. To be more comfortable. Okay, kitty. Yes, kitties. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, Tay, you're going on. That's my good news. And another part wants to rename himself, and I'm not sure why. And I'm like, is this a spontaneous thing or a well thought out thing? Just go for it. Obviously, they have a purpose, a reason behind wanting to do it. We would lump that into things that you probably shouldn't examine too closely, but just let happen. There's a lot of that in DID, God knows. Okay, let's see here. Naomi, he looks like my cat. Yeah, we've got two orange boys, and they've got the orange cat energy, that's for sure. The other one more so than Chocho or Cheddar, the one that we just showed you. Lavender System, Cat Bomb, best part of the streams. Finally changed our name and PFP. Gotcha. Okay, so who do we know you as, Lavender System? Anyway, yeah, if we know you under another name, let us know. If not, welcome. We try to keep track of everybody. Let's see. No sorry for cats. We love to see them. Okay. Let's see. Finally, embracing your systemhood. Good for you. 420 Witch, X-Files is still one of my favorite shows to watch. X-Files had such promise, and then they just... to be honest, our favorite kind of like paranormal supernatural show like that from that same area was Fringe. And if you guys haven't seen it, Fringe is an excellent show. Not only because of the fact that it deals with all that weird stuff, but it's got a lot of really great character development in it. And it's a little gory and gruesome in places, particularly for the time that it aired. But it is great because it's a complete series. There is a beginning and an ending to it. It's not one of these where you get dug into it like Lost, for example, back then, and then they yank it around and it ends up with some half-assed ending that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Fringe has a definite ending, and it's a hell of a ride getting there. That show will twist your brain inside out and upside down. Plus, it's got Leonard Nimoy in one of his final appearances. So hey, how can you go wrong with Spock, right? I mean, no, it's Spock's not in the show, just the actor. He plays a guy named William Bell. Anyway, we're babbling on. Let's see here. But yeah, X-Files was good. It had a good run, and then it went to crap. Let's see here. 5 Pieces 9. Should we stop uploading videos that seem to be repetitive of previous videos, yet with different background music and different approach? No, upload whatever you damn well please. If you retread your content or think that you have something worthwhile to add onto it, or you just want to produce your up your production values, do it. You have ultimate control of your channel. You can do as you damn well please. People will either watch or they won't. It's like we went back, like we did with The Forgotten Door, the audio book, or rather the book that Percival read, the audio book that we read to you guys back when, at the time when we started doing it, I hadn't put in any sound effects or the background noise or anything like that until about chapter 6, when I started putting those things in to, bring it more to life. So it always kind of stuck in my side and niggled at me that the first 6 chapters, while they're there and they were good, they weren't what I wanted. They didn't have the polish and the level that I wanted to bring to it. So we went back and it took me a while to redo everything and to tighten it up and tighten the editing and put the sound effects in. But we just re-released that as a one continuous long 3-hour story for you guys to listen to without the chapters in between. We have the originals still up, but that, so I don't want to say reused our content, but we updated it and brought it up to date. So yeah, there's precedent. It's your channel. Do what you damn well please with it, Cloud. If that's something you want to do it. You have free reign and control. 420 Witch at Blue Rose, talking about visiting her father. Oxymoron, very tired today. It's 10:20 here p.m. and we've been awake since 5. Oh, for God's sakes, go to sleep. Had a full day with lots of driving. Yes, go to sleep. We have to be here, but just as a warning, it might be that you fall asleep soon. You might even be asleep by the time that I'm reading this to you. No, yeah, go get some sleep, guys. If you want to leave us on in the background to, fall asleep to our voice or something, that's great. If not, turn us off. Let's see here. Oxy, backing up what I'd say no, don't stop. Exactly. Oxymoron, I love PNT. Oh my God, are you serious? You actually watch our old channel, Oxy? It's got like maybe 500 subs on it or something. Unfortunately, when we got diagnosed and the shit really hit the fan, psychologically, we had to step away from the channel. But basically the whole thought behind the show was to kind of do a tongue-in-cheek but serious. It's like, okay, what if that dude on the evening news actually took this stuff seriously and put a little bit of humor in with it? But let's look at it as, not automatically, oh, this is an alien or this is UFO, but okay, let's try to figure out what it isn't first, so that we come down to that 2-3% of those truly weird things. And if you do watch the show, you know that we went pretty damn in depth on some of our video analysis and whatnot. And, so yeah, but I can't believe you actually watch PNT. My God, technically some of it's like the blue screen. It was so rough. It was so rough and so crappy looking. I mean, our quality improved over time. But when the diagnosis hit and everything fell apart, we had to step away from the channel, and we haven't went back, and we don't really have any plans to go back. But we'd throw fun little things like little bits of old movies at the beginning, like basically the whole thing was, okay, you're watching TV at 1 a.m. and this movie that you're watching, all of a sudden it cuts to another broadcast, and oh, here's PNT. It's just kind of one of those just quirky, weird little things. It was an odd little show. But so thank you if you actually have watched that. Kaleidoscope asks, hello, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Blue Rose saying a 5 pieces of 9. Appreciate your videos, and you have to do what feels right to you. Why do you think you should or shouldn't do that? Okay, yeah, Blue Rose right there. Let's see here. Everybody's saying hi. 5 pieces of 9 saying, thank you both. We have had something for a couple weeks, but there's some mirroring of previous ideations and presentations, so that created doubt. Nah, do it. Expand on your point. Lavender System, formerly known as Stefan. Okay, Stephen, yes. I'm sorry, Stephen, Stefan. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we've got you now. Thank you, because we tend to associate you guys with the YouTube handles that you use unless we know otherwise, so thank you. Eventually, we're going to hit a point where we can't keep everybody straight, and we apologize for that, but it's like, we're hanging at just shy of 2K subs right now, so that's 2,000 of you. It's a lot more difficult to keep track of, and we know we've got a mess of lurkers that, just like, hello, lurkers, which is cool. But yeah, we do try to remember everybody, so thank you for cluing us in on that. Let's see, Blue Rose giving 5 pieces of 9 the same advice. Yes, Blue Rose, oh, we love Fringe also, and yes, you can't go wrong with Mr. Nemo. Yeah, Fringe was a great show, it really was. It took us a while to warm to Anna Torv, the one who plays blonde hair. Oh, God, can't think of the name. Was just in the head. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. It took us a while to warm to her style of acting, because she always seemed a little bit stilted, and I mean, we get that was part of the character. But she's in another show that we just got done watching on Netflix about the first serial hunter profiling people who did that back in the 70s. What the hell was it called? Manhunter, that's it. She's in that and does a fantastic job. So bouncing all over the place here. But yeah, Fringe is a great show. Let's see here. Toaster saying, I agree with Blue Rose. Nothing wrong with repetition from a different approach. Exactly. Lavender System, in the past, we never really felt comfortable posting on YouTube or even commenting due to being afraid of our ex finding and harassing us. But now we know who we are, and we are worthy of being us. Yes, you are. All of you are worthy of being you. All of you are worthy of being happy and having peace in your life. So, mantra, yes, you are worthy, all of you. Remember that. Excellent, excellent mindset there, Lavender System. Oxymoron, yes, we watch, and I think we're even subscribed and still awake barely. Yeah, don't expect to see any new episodes come out of that, because, oh my God, that was the most, I mean, we think we keep what we do here on this channel pretty simple as far as, like the graphic overlays and whatnot. And if you have watched PNT, you're kind of seeing some of the elements, like with the title bar, and now we've got the screen up for, the video points and whatnot that we want to make. You'll see elements of that, like where we were kind of refining that approach, and now we're kind of bringing it over just more in the presentation style. But we deliberately set out to keep this channel as simple as we possibly could. And the only times when we really break that are with the informational episodes that Dana and I do, and then, of course, little stories, which is takes the most amount of effort and energy and time and complexity to produce for you guys. That's why generally we can only knock out one little stories every month or so, is because the process of putting the whole thing together is really, really involved. And I have to do a lot of hard editing work and production work. I mean, it's easy for Percival because all he has to do is read the story and then sit there, and be filmed and whatnot and talk with the kids. But I'm there doing all the rest. I've got to figure out the editing and the lighting. Oh my God, the lighting and the green screening is just maddening. That's why I'm glad that we finally got the studio when our son moved out, because now I'm able to more or less set up the green screen, set up the lighting, and it's there, and I don't have to do it every single time. Because literally just setting up the lighting for Percival and the green screen for the little stories, that'll take a full day. A lot of the times it would take a full day just to set the lighting up, and because it's so particular. And I am particular because I like to produce a very high quality product for you guys, the best that we can, or that I can as the editor. They're the talent. So that's why it can take a while to come out. So yeah, I'm not sure if I had a point there, but that's where it was. Let's see here. Okay, Kaleidoscope saying hello. Appreciate you. Okay, giving 5 pieces of 9 Cloud some more encouragement there. Oh, I jumped back. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Wow, the thing. 420 Witch, I'm going to take a look at Fringe. My mom was a big X-File fan, so I was watching from an age where maybe I shouldn't have been watching it. The only episode that scares me is Tomb. It's been so long, I can't remember. But yeah, check out Fringe. The first season is a little bit slow. The second season, it really picks up. And by the time they hit the 5th season, you're like, WTF. But I guarantee you that you will absolutely love Walter Bishop. 420 Witch. You will love Walter. Walter is the freaking best. So let's see here. Crud forgot to like the stream. I felt out. Oh, that's okay, but thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, please, throw the likes, and particularly on the new videos. I mean, we're not uber concerned with subs and all that and Demetrius, but really, 3 things. Well, 2 things that you guys can do to help us out as far as making the algorithm notice us is comment. That's the main thing. Comment on new videos that we put up or whatnot, and hit the like button. Those really apparently are the 2 that kind of drive you to the top of the metrics or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. I've been trying like hell to understand exactly how the YouTube algorithm works. But I just can't. And as you guys know, we do not ask for donations or anything like that. We do put the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee links in our descriptions, but we're not focused on that. We want you guys to keep your money, but if you feel that you're getting some worth out of our programming or whatnot, and you're feeling a little flush, sure, throw us $5 on the Buy a Coffee thing in the description links. Other than that, watch the ads if you want. We don't watch ads ourselves. I know we're bad about that, but that really those are the best things to do to help the channel grow, which has already grown way beyond what we ever thought it would be. But hey, that's so much the better. So that's the mechanics of the money and whatnot. We're more concerned about the algorithm. I think let's see what I think we've only made $123 off the channel in the 3 years that we've been doing it now. And that was mostly because one of our viewers named Mark, thank you again, Mark, bought like a super sticker or something, and that basically made up half of our earnings right there. But it did come in handy. And for those of you who have contributed to the Buy Me a Coffee in the past, thank you very much, because that did come in handy at a point when we needed it pretty badly. It was a nice little pillow to have, and it tided us through a sparse period, let's put it that way. So thank you for that. Thank you for all of you who have chosen to support the channel in those ways, and for those of you who support the channel by clicking like and comment and, put the word of us out there. That's about all we ask, really. Okay, so let's see here. But thank you for liking the stream, Lavender System. Mr. Toomey or something scared us too. Yeah, I'm not remembering that episode. But the X-Files has been a long way. Toaster is saying to the Lavender System that you are more accepting of who you are. Absolutely. It is awesome. You're absolutely correct, Toaster. Sorry, Tay. Stephen, our caretaker, now renamed as Emil, is happy that you convinced me not to look too much into it and said thank you for the advice you give each stream and video. He says he loves the videos. Not at all. You're most welcome, Emil. Just doing what we're doing, and then we're glad that it's connecting with you guys. We try to kind of like be the Joe Friday of the DID online. It's like just the facts, man. It's like, and we know that it's hard on you guys sometimes because we don't pull punches, and we do dig into that stuff that other channels don't seem to want to cover. And I mean, yeah, trauma is tough to cover in a way that's both true to itself, but not exploitive or overwhelming for the audience. But you guys know what we're about here, and obviously, if you weren't finding worth in it, you wouldn't still be here watching. So, yay! Anyway, we honestly we put a lot of thought into things, but we're not obsessed on the stuff that others are. It's not who we are. But you're absolutely welcome, Emil. Glad that some of the content is speaking to you. Mainly, we just want to let you guys, you're not alone, to give you facts and to let you know that you're not alone, that you're not going through this. That's been our mission statement from square one, because when we started on, we did exactly what most people do. So you just found out that you've got DID. Let's go looking for stuff on it. There's not much out there. And there is a lot of misinformation, a lot of misrepresentations, and just a lot of crap, So we've tried to be that, here's the facts, man. Just the facts, man. So anyway, Joe Friday was from a show in the 50s called Dragnet. He's a very straight-laced, detective, police officer, just the facts, man. That was his catchphrase. So for those of you who weren't familiar, that's where that came from. Yes, we're showing our age. Let's see here. Toaster, thanks for support. Toaster, thanks. Lavender System. Do you all have plans at some point making YouTube full-time? If it comes to it, we'll embrace that. Yeah. I mean, we do put effort into the stuff, and it's nice to be able to put a gallon or fill up the tank of the gas, but the money's just not there. And we've actually talked about this with our daughter, who is very keen and social media aware, but without going over it. And we know that one of our biggest limitations right now is that we're not on social media. We don't have that social media presence. I mean, we're on Instagram, and we'll, those of you who follow us there, we'll post, repost, stuff on trauma and things like that, stuff that, we agree with or we think of, or, just random stuff to try to make you guys, give you a bright spot in your day if you see it. But we're not social media savvy, and to be honest, we really don't have the time. So it's one of these where we know that we could, up our presence, as it was, if we were focused on that. But our focus has not been on the channel growth. It's been on the channel content, and just letting, word of mouth or folks that happen across us, subscribe to the channel. And we, and it's nice to see, when we get a couple of new subs, we do count them. But it's really weird, because we've tried to figure out, okay, why do we lose so many subs sometimes? It's like we'll lose 3 or 4 in a day, and then we'll gain like 12, and then lose like 6 and stuff like that. And it's like, we can't make heads or tails out of it. But if we eventually do grow to the point where doing the channel would be a full-time type of a job, yeah, we could do that. We feel that we've been able to successfully walk the balance enough to where we could probably deal with a larger audience and things like that. I mean, we're pretty, we're not flustered easily. We're not going to fall into a lot of the same pitfalls and, self-love and self-aggrandizement, and, getting the hit of adrenaline off of the comments or whatnot, and, just interacting with our audience in that way. That's not what we do. And that's not who we are. So we feel pretty confident that we could maintain true to our vision and continue to produce the types of content that you guys seem to enjoy. If we did grow larger, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Would it be nice? Yeah, sure, it'd be nice. But we also realize that it would be a drain. And this is why we don't pump out content. This is why we take breaks. And, we've told you guys frequently, we produce our content according to not a particular time schedule. If the altar, it's like if Rosemary, she wants to come out and cook, and actually the house dynamics have just gotten to the point where she will feel comfortable to come out and do her next video. In fact, we've already started buying ingredients for us. So that should be coming up within the next month or so. She's, gotten more comfortable with that. And that's what it comes down to. Nobody goes on camera or produces content unless they're comfortable doing so. And when they want to do so, we never force our alters or, any of us. Tenses are so weird. We never force them to do anything. The channel is open as a creative outlet for them within certain, boundaries, obviously. So it's we know it's kind of been a mishmash, and maybe we would do better if we just focused on one specific type of content, but that's not who we are and what our channel is. So hopefully maybe that answered your question there. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But, if you guys want to spread the word or whatnot and get out there, if you're on social media, please feel free to, link our Instagram accounts or, a video or something that you might find interesting that you feel might help someone. We would rather be helping someone not knowing about it than having you guys spreading our stuff around just, to help us grow. Are we making any sense at all? Hopefully, anyway. Cross that bridge when we get to it. TLDR. But we think that we're pretty well within ourselves to avoid a lot of the common pitfalls that other creators fall into. And we're not concerned with flying monkeys because, well, number one, we don't court drama. We may comment on it when we feel we have something, worthwhile to say from time to time. Those of you who have been longtime subscribers know what we're talking about. But we don't open our mouth or dip our finger into that particular pool unless we feel that there's a damn good reason to do so. So whether or not that helps us grow or not, who knows? Back to the chat. Okay, so let's see here. Never Wonder, late but made it. Hi, Never Wonder. Let's see, Lavender System being particular, it took us most of the day to make our simple PFP because we kept nitpicking at most of the process. Yes, Lavender, I understand you there because me as the editor, I want to nitpick and make everything just so. And unfortunately, that gets in the way of the production process. So I've had to learn to let go and leave those Persian flaws. Like with the rug, it was a signature for all true Persian rugs. The makers will leave one knot that is mistied, the literal Persian flaw, because they believe that making something perfect is an insult to the higher power, and therefore they will deliberately put a mistied knot or something in there in order to, give recognition of, there are things that are so much more above me and I don't want to go imitating that. So there you go. You just got a TIL on the meaning of the phrase Persian flaw. That's why. It comes from the rugs. Anyway, let's see here. But yeah, we get you on the nitpicky. Blue Rose, we so appreciate all that work for the littles. It is really helpful and brings a lot of needed joy to our littles. Good, thank you, because that is the exact thing. We're actually combining like 3 or 4 of the formulas from, like, say, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. There was a very old similar program that was called the Ding Dong School with Miss Francis. That was more back in the 1950s. But we've taken elements from those and worked them into the little stories. To try to draw, kind of like the best bits from each to draw on our own thing. So good, we're glad that it's helping the littles, because that was one of the things that kind of mystified us when we came looking for info on YouTube and elsewhere, is that nobody did any content for littles. People would talk about them, but not really, there was no content geared directly for them. So we went, and actually, I think it was after, so Percival started reading, but it was after actually one of our viewers, I don't remember which one of you it was, had said, this will make a great, we'd be behind a continuing series. And that put the light bulb on to go, ding. It's like, okay, let's see what we can do. And we've been working steadily to improve it, bring up the production values, to make a consistent, reliable environment for the littles where they can relax. And you've got that safe space, like we were talking about in our last episode. Even if that safe space only exists here on the phone or on the tablet or on the computer or whatnot, it's a reliable thing where the littles will know it is going to be the same every time, or they watch that episode, or every time they watch an episode, just with minor changes that we've worked in. But the consistency is very important to us, because that is a fundamental, as a parent, this is one of the fundamental underlying things that you must have for a child's health, is consistency all the way across the board. Consistency with discipline, consistency with rules, consistency with environment, and particularly for traumatized individuals, which we all are, obviously, they need that consistency even more. So we're trying to, or Percival obviously he's very invested in it. He's trying to make things as consistent and as reliable and as warm and comfortable for them as we possibly can. And I think we've had more hits than misses on that account. So. And of course, we're getting ready to do another novel read for the older system members as well. Already got it scanned out. He's about ready to start recording the first chapter, so we will have that coming down the line for you guys. Okay, so let's see here. So yeah, thank you, Blue Rose, for that. Let's see, we've been talking to Lavender System. Definitely going to be leaving more comments from now, since we finally feel comfortable with commenting. Laugh out loud. Yes, we binged you. And that's fine, Lavender System. I mean, we don't expect everybody to, we know we've got a lot of lurkers, and that's cool. We talk about a lot of very uncomfortable stuff. We rip that Band-Aid off and go, let's poke our finger in the trauma and figure out exactly what's going on here. So yeah, we've got a real weird dichotomy of content, but we've managed to make it work somehow. But thank you, Lavender, definitely. We appreciate any comments, because we do read them all. And also, that's one other thing, if you guys, I know we've talked about this before, but we use the hearts a little bit differently on our comment. Just because we heart your comment, what that means to us is we have seen and we have read your comment, no matter what it might happen to be. We've seen it, we have read it, and we'll generally hit it with a like as well. We don't always have the time to comment back, but if we heart your comment, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're agreeing with you. It just simply means that we've looked it over, we've heard what you had to say, and we're giving you that acknowledgement. So if you scroll through our comment section and see we're hearting everything, that's why, because it's the only way that we can let you guys know directly that, yeah, we saw your comment, we saw what you had to say, and here's our acknowledgement of that. And if we have the time and we feel we have something to say, we'll gladly reply. So a little bit differently there, and that's something that we fail to point out and might be a little confusing to some folks. Okay, let's see here. Lavender System. And we also have a disability hearing scheduled for 3 months from now. Good luck, because we got nowhere with ours. So may you have much better luck on that than we did. Keep us up on that. Let's see, Lavender System would definitely recommend starting a Discord server. That is an idea, but again, we're coming up against the time factor with us, because we do have a family and we have, work that we have to do and stuff like that. So our time is at a premium, which is why your question about, doing the YouTube channel full time, if we grew to that point. Yes, at that point we could, if we were just pulling in enough to cover, our basic expenses, then yes, we could devote more time to it, but we have to balance that. We have to balance burnout. We have to balance our emotional states and where we're at that particular point in time, because we are going to, no offense, self-care for ourselves before we will produce content for you. And, some people might get a little pissy about that, but we're not going to bleed ourselves dry. We know the dangers of that, and we know the pitfalls that most creators fall into because we've watched them do it. Well, we're watching several of them do it right now, as a matter of fact, but that's all we're going to say about that. We may be quiet, but we do keep our eye open. But yeah, Discord, the trouble would be having the time. I know, but we will file that away as a good suggestion, though, so thank you for stating that. Toaster saying to the Lavender system, it's awesome. How difficult it can be to go through that process. Yeah, definitely good luck for that. Okay, everybody's saying +1 for the Discord server. Discord would be awesome. Okay, we will think about it. Okay, but again, the time that we have to spend is the main deciding factor there. Okay, 10 years press has been going on for this. Haven't had income since January 2012. Woohoo, more rose cooking. Yeah, Lavender system, one thing you might want to look into. Now, this works for us. What we do is we work for Amazon delivering packages, but we're part of what's called their Flex program, Amazon Flex, which is basically where you are a subcontractor. You take your vehicle and you go and you pick up, you're paid per block of time. Generally, they've got them 3 to 5 hours. Generally, we'll do the 4 or 4.5 hour blocks for $100. And you never know exactly where in your city you're going to end up delivering. So, like with a big metropolis where we're at, sometimes you can get the shit end of the stick as far as the amount of distance that you've gone, because you do have to still pay for your gas. But it gives you that flexibility to where you can just simply book that particular block of time, and you have 24 hours, I think or is it with an hour or two, to cancel that. So if you're on an up, you can do a block or 2 a day. If you're on a down, you don't have to work. It's provided us with that flexibility that has been vital for us, particularly when we're having an unregulated day. Opposed to, okay, I've got this job, I've got a place I got to go to the store, I got to go to work, whether I want to or not. That's how it is. So that's given us some of that flexibility. We're not sure where you're at in the country. I'm not even sure if they do that overseas, but you might want to look into that or something like that, unless you've got, like some agoraphobic issues. The anxieties can still be pretty intense for us sometimes, but one of the nice things about this is we get in the car and it's just us. We interact with virtually nobody all day. You go there, you scan it in, it's all automated. Well, we see maybe 2 people there at the Amazon and they just say, okay, here's your thing, have a good day. And that's about it. The rest of the time it's just us making the deliveries in the car, doing our things by ourselves. So it's worked out real well for us. So you might want to consider looking into something like that as well, if that's a good fit for you. Just a suggestion from us, because we fight that battle as well. Okay, so Toaster, wow, it's like 4 years for us until we finally got approved. It's a long time without income. Yeah, we tried several times. We filed like 4 times and we got nowhere. We got up to the final review and they didn't give it to us because we don't pose a harm to ourselves or others. So apparently you can be incredibly mentally ill, suffer all the effects, have all this debilitating condition, but it doesn't mean shit to disability unless you're willing to slit your wrists open or something like that, or club somebody else over the side of the head. If you're somebody who actually takes care of yourself and can be in control of yourself, more or less, they don't care. You can still go work. Sucks. And don't get us off on the people who just work the system when they're not really disabled, because then we'll be here for another hour and we'll be bitching and we won't get anywhere. But yes, if you can get it, good luck, go for that. Keep us updated on that, please, because that's a good news type of a thing. And yeah, that is a long time without income. We hear you. We've been there. Mm-hmm. That was basically us before we stopped working for Amazon, or started working for Amazon, I mean. Okay, yeah, you've been looking for another Cooking with Rosemary. Yeah, absolutely. Or Rosemary, yeah. We love the content as it is, Oxy says. Okay, well, thank you. Lavender System, you have been spreading the word of you all to some other mental health servers. Thank you. We appreciate that. Toaster, we have also been looking forward to another Cooking with Rosemary. Yeah, absolutely. She's been making some noise in the headspace, but there's so many things that have to happen in order. And like we've said, we don't force anybody to front. We co-front 90% of the time, but we won't force anybody to fully front until she's comfortable doing it and feels that all the ducks are in a row, all the I's and the T's are dotted and crossed. She's not going to do it. And believe me, she's got a very strong personality. And when she doesn't want to do something, it's not going to happen. So, but yeah, that is coming up before Halloween. There, we just put a timestamp on it. A generous timestamp. But okay, let's see here. Lavender System. Yeah, sadly can't drive anymore to go. Blind in your right eye. Yeah, sorry about that. That can be tough. Our eyesight is slowly going to crap. We need a new pair of glasses really bad, but the money is just not there for it right now. Let's see here. 5 pieces of 9 at Lavender System. Took 3 years for Social Security to recognize disability and 12 years for VA. Yep. Sounds about common. VA is such a pain in the butt. We never served, so we don't have that issue, fortunately. But yeah, where are we at here? Okay, wow, are we caught up on the chat log? Yes, we are. So this is the point in time, like I said, we're going to kind of run the stream a little bit short today because of yesterday. Kind of almost losing your life on your, anniversary. It can be a little bit touching on the... Anyway, it was an eventful evening. So this is the point where we're going to go over, and if you guys have any last minute questions or whatnot, go ahead and hit us and, make a comment or something. We are still looking for questions for our wife. If you have any questions that you want her to answer, things that you would like to know, write them down there for you. We've got one so far. We need more to make an episode, guys. We need at least 3 to even put out like a 6-minute Q&A type of a thing. But she has said that she's willing to answer any questions that you guys might have. So ask away. I know that we say this every stream, but we really haven't had anybody come forward. So either they're just not interested or what. Maybe the message isn't getting across, but ask any questions that you got there. Coming up, like I said, Rosemary will be having a new one. We'll have a new Little Stories out. We're going to start production on the other novel. The next info piece that we're going to do is going to be covering the theory of structural dissociation, or the TOSD, the underlying principle of DID, and much more. We've covered it in other videos like our Learning to Love Again, Sex, Trauma, and DID. And a couple of other places we've touched on it briefly, but we're actually going to, thanks to a comment that one of our viewers, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it right now, made on one of the things. We jot them down when we're like, we need to go into this in more detail. So we're going to be covering the theory of structural dissociation and how it ties in and how the DID forms and whatnot in much more detail. So that's the next informational episode that we've got coming out, and it will be it'll probably be trigger free because that's pretty much a hard cut and dried type of a subject there. So we've got that coming, one from Rosemary, new Little Stories. That's about all. That's a full plate right there for us coming up, and depending upon how stuff goes in our private life will depend upon how rapidly that gets out. So that's where we're going for there. We'll go and we'll check We'll check the chat log here to see if anybody has any final questions or whatnot before we sign off. So let's see here. 420 is saying in the UK, it's very hard to get disability. Even when you do get it, help sometimes isn't the right help or even there. Okay, wife's reaction to switching. Can you be a little more specific? As in, what? Does she have trouble telling who is who or what is what or things like that? Let's see. Blue, is very nice to be here again. We missed you all last month. Yeah, it's okay, Blue. We're always here. You can always rewatch this. Blech. Man, the tongue is just not cooperating today. You can always watch the streams, but yes, we like to have the the face to ears contact with you guys. Meaning it was questioned. Okay, wife's reaction to switching. Yeah. It's nice to be here. I haven't been able to make many streams because of college and our memory, but I'm glad I can make this one. Not at all, Toaster. We've been glad that you're here. You're always welcome. Everybody's welcome on the streams. Blue Rose, see you all next month. Absolutely. May everyone do the best they can with what they have. Lavender System says, we're able to get mom through a really bad panic attack thanks to grounding techniques we learned through y'all's content. Thank you. We're glad. Good. Glad that you guys were able to get grounded. And really, we're just passing techniques on to you that we learned from our therapists or through our research. So we can't really take any credit for, you know, that kind of thing. It's not our baby. We're just, you know, passing it along. What do they, paying it forward. There we go. So, but yay that it worked. Okay, 5 Piece of 9, exactly. Does she determine who it is and interact with them? Okay, that gives us more to go off of. So there's question number 2. So thank you for that. You're most welcome, Lavender System. Absolutely. Thank you for letting us know. Never Wonder, thanks so much. We'll go back and watch the start to see what we missed, because it sounds like a lot. Car wreck, UFO, cruise. Yeah, it was a lively night. Okay, so it sounds like also we'll get our spouse to come with some questions for y'all, spouse. Absolutely. Okay, guys, thank you very much for coming on to the stream. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting us and just being here, being the wonderful people that you are. And now we'll sign off. And as always, we remind you, say it with us, you are loved, that you are strong, and that you are not alone. All right, guys, I'm Chris, signing off, and everybody else is kind of a soupy jumble mess right now. We'll catch you on the flip sides. Have a great night, everybody. Be safe, drink water, and get lots of rest.